It's very seldomly played, but it was his last speech that he gave the night before he was killed. And he talked about withdrawing economic support. And he talked about the buying power of blacks at that time. And he gave 3 marching orders to boycott Coca-Cola, seal test ice cream or milk, and Wonder Bread. I don't know if black folks still eat Wonder Bread, but he was talking about the economic buying power that we have as a people. And he said at that time we would probably be the 8th largest nation in the world if we pooled our resources. Today our economic buying power is close to $1 trillion, if not more. So the question is, who will be willing to teach us, of course, economics? That's one of the things that have always been kept away from us coming out of slavery, was to teach us the science of economics, the science of business, and the science of reproduction, so that we clearly understand that. And the science of warfare was kept away from us as well. So I say that to say that when you look at, again, just the buying power of black youth, the Illuminati understand that, because black youth wear the clothes that many of these hip-hop artists and R&B artists, the white youth, brown youth, and everybody else take their cue from the black youth. You know, and this is what you constantly see. This is why they'll give you a shirt that Jay-Z wears with the skull and bones on it, and then the young people want to buy it. And then it's in Target and everywhere else. They'll give you a shirt with Alex DeCrawley's quotation on there, "Do what thou wilt." That's Illuminati saying that. There's no law, do whatever it is you want to do. That comes straight out of Alex DeCrawley, for anybody that want to Google DeCrawley. But when you look at the political power, again, here we are in America, and we look at the election of a black man in 2008. But when you look around the world, we have black presidents in other countries. The power of the Illuminati is to say, okay, we'll give you a black man in the White House, but you ain't got a black man or a black woman in the lighthouse called the Senate. So if we got one up top, can't we have some more down here? You know, bling bling. If we're going to bling, let us really bling all the way around, from the bottom to the top and top to the bottom. But in terms of political power, we see more black mayors, but and more elected officials on the state level, but we're losing more power and more land, more home foreclosures than anything else than we lost coming out of slavery that's not being talked about. You know, Prince George's County, the largest black enclave of black power in America, and you see more black people losing their homes than you see in some other states around this country. So that's the economic power. The social power is that it's not popular to talk about blackness no more today. Right. You know what I mean? And that's a very dangerous thing when you can no longer advocate for yourself. You can advocate and talk about everybody else's fight and plight and condition, but not your own. Right. That every 40 hours a black man is still killed by a police officer or somebody lined up with law enforcement. That our women are still being raped, still being victims. In terms of 70% of our households headed up with women with no men there. Our children growing up in this condition, but we're not supposed to talk about it because we got everybody else's fight and plight that's put in front of us. So I think all of that becomes a part of what the Illuminati has done successfully, which is the breakup of our families and our institutions. That even at HBCUs, you got those saying, we don't need no more HBCUs. Yeah. You know, we don't need no more black student unions because we got a black president. So why we need a black student union? If we want to hear the black perspective, the black president speaks for everybody. You know, so, you know, it negates, you know, almost the entire black nation. So in the 60s, we had many leaders and many voices. But today, the voices are very limited. And so this is what we see, again, in terms of what the Illuminati has done. And they take the athletes and make the athletes our spokespersons. They don't do that for no other group of people. They take comedians, not comedians like Dick Gregory, but they take comedians like Cat Williams and say he speaks for the black community. You know, and so this is what kind of things that we see. So we have to take back our power and look at the impact of what they've done to us as a people right now.
Mm-hmm. Because without facts, without true facts, people have beliefs that they're not willing to change. Once you have a belief system, we have what's called cognitive mechanisms that are produced in the brain that causes you to be biased to any other information you receive. So if I believe something, this is what I believe. So even when I bring truth, I do not receive it because it's so ingrained in me. And that is what had led us to the discussion about the marching orders, the things that we need to do to kind of shift, you know, the brain. So there is a major psychological aspect that Illuminati is playing on our people to make us paranoid of each other.
That's right.
It's not even paranoid of them, but to be paranoid of each other. That's right. I don't even trust you who sit next to me because you're going to hurt me. because that prevents us from coming together
Yes.
Right.
to produce.
That's right.
Because I cannot produce without you.
Divide and come.
And so I think that's one of the biggest aspects of it that we need to really, really, really have a discussion about. And as we move into a further discussion, when we move into Youth Truth discussing Illuminati Part 2, we're getting to a lot more of that whole social, biological, educational, political aspect of the effects of Illuminati. So thank all of the panel for being with us today and for you for joining us on Youth Truth.